In this video, I'm going to answer the question, what is the best digital modeler for me? And that's coming up next. Hey guys, this is Dr. McFarland and welcome back to the channel. If you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button down below and click the bell icon so you'll be notified every time I release new content. So this video is a response to the comments I got on the last video, which was titled, "What is the best digital modeler?" And that will be linked in the cards up above. And a lot of the comments that I saw were kind of agreeing with the points that I made about user interface, workflow, don't worry about the competition and things like that. But some people were like, hey, was this a clickbait kind of title? Because I definitely clicked on it and I was expecting to hear the best digital modeler. Well, not really knowing that the true answer to that question is, well, it's subjective. So only you can answer that. But in this video, I'm going to tell you some of the digital modelers I've used in the past and which ones I'm currently using now. So if you've seen my channel for any length of time, that you'll know that I'm a big fan of the Headrush pedal board, and that doesn't make it better or worse than any of the other digital modelers out on the market. But for me, it just really came down to Pete Thorne. If I gotta be honest, I saw Pete Thorne's demonstration of the Headrush pedal board and I was like, finally, this is a really awesome unit. It sounds great. And when it came down to the user interface, I just love the touchscreen and how I can move blocks around and assign the blocks to any of the switches I want. And the functionality was there. It has spillover between rigs and presets and scenes and on and off status, and it really just clicked all the boxes for me. So as you can see behind me, I have the Headrush gig board right here, and this stays on my desk pretty much 100% of the time. And whenever I need to record something, I just plug in my guitar or my bass and dial in a sound that I think works best for the song I'm currently working on, and it doesn't take up a lot of room on the desk itself. So that's why I chose the Headrush line of products. But I do own a few other digital modelers, and let's go ahead and go through those. In the past, I had put together a huge pedal board with all kinds of different pedals and a Boss ES8 switcher, and I was just to the point where I was ready to wire everything up with the power and the cables. And at that time, I wasn't playing in a band anymore, unfortunately, and I just became a studio guy. So I just kept asking myself, why are you building this huge pedal board when you're not even going to use it out to play with? So I pretty much at that point decided, all right, I'm going to sell all my pedals, even though I still have a handful left at this point. And I just decided I'm going to go straight digital and find a unit that's going to basically replace this whole pedal board. And that one unit became the HX Effects, which is what you see here. And I've used the HX Effects with some Quilter amps and some other setups, some in the past and some that I will be demonstrating here in the very near future as well. And what's great about the HX Effects is it has all the legacy sounds from the DL4, MM4, all the overdrive stuff, all the modulation stuff. And that's something that I've been using for the last 15 years of playing at church and playing in bands. I have to have that auto volume echo sound that you can find on the DL4. And plus, I've been using the M series for years as well. I started off with the M9, then I transferred over to the M13 because I wanted something bigger. Then I downsized to the M5 because I wanted to incorporate actual pedals as well as the digital stuff. So I've had all the M series. I was very familiar with that. And I had actually modded a few of those units. I upgraded the switches and upgraded the audio, which the audio is kind of, it's kind of subjective. But when it came to the switches, it was definitely a good decision to upgrade those to make sure they're more reliable. And then when I saw the HX Effects come out, I was like, this is one unit $600, give or take. And the switches were already upgraded. And actually, they have capacitance functionality to where you can just touch them and they respond to your touch. And it's just amazing. So I saw that. I saw that they had all the legacy effects, and then they had all this new stuff that they keep updating it more and more with more overdrives, more delays, more reverbs, and it just became a no-brainer really at that point. So going digital in that regard, replacing my whole pedal board with the HX effects was the decision that was good for me. And if you really, really, really prefer the sound of your analog stomp boxes, then maybe the HX effects isn't right for you. But if your ears really can't hear the difference and you don't mind the digital functionality of the HX effects, then I highly suggest that unit, especially for the price. And it's just a stupid deal. So you need to get one. Here recently, I've also picked up the Boss MS3, which is a multi-effect switcher. And that was another piece of functionality that I really wanted to have. Basically, I plugged all my pedals into the back of the unit, and then I was able to set up presets and hit one button that turned on or off a combination of different pedals. I didn't have to do the whole tap dance thing. And the HX Effects has that functionality as well, where I can set up presets and snapshots and whatever. But choosing the Boss MS3 was kind of getting back to that Boss, name brand, because they have all the sounds as far as overdrives, delays, reverbs, modulations. So it's basically a switcher that has built-in effects already in there. And it does have 3 loops that I can incorporate external stomp boxes, like more overdrives, or maybe your favorite fuzz, or maybe your favorite delay. And it's just a very small, tidy unit that I can use for MIDI functionality. I can use the controls on the back to control amp switching or other functions of an amp that you may have. And for the price, it's really, once again, it's just a no-brainer to have for all the functionality that you get with that one unit. So between the Headrush, the HX Effects, and the Boss MS3, those are 3 multi-effect units that I can use here in the studio to dial in whatever sounds I want. And I do understand that the HX Effects and the Boss MS3 do not have amp or cab simulations, okay? The HX Effects, you can load your own impulse responses, which is really cool. But it does not have an amp inside of it itself. So that's why I usually use the Blue Guitar Amp 1 or the Quilter Interblock 45 for my amp sounds. And that gives me the amp function, and then I can add whatever effects I want to those amps via the 4-cable method. And it's just a very small, tidy, compact way of setting up a pedal board or a live rig that I can play anywhere. Now, some things I've had in the past, which has been quite a few. I'm really trying to think back to everything I've had, and it's going to be hard. The earliest I can think of going back was maybe a Vox Tone Lab. It was a multi-effect kind of switcher with a little tube inside of it with an expression pedal. That thing was pretty cool. I've also had the Line 6 HD500X, which was pretty cool. I had all the sounds that the M series had, but I had the extra amps and cabs. But there's something about the functionality and just the way you moved around on the screen. And I didn't have the functionality of tails or trails between the presets. So let's say if you had a delay or a reverb on a certain preset, then you switch to another preset, it would cut off the delay and reverb tails. And I just can't have that. I absolutely have to have that feature when I'm using a piece of gear, because I don't want my delay and reverb to be cut off when I switch to a different sound. I want it to keep going and have that smooth transition, which is why I went with the Headrush for my main digital modeler, because I had that functionality and it just made it a no-brainer once again. I really like that word in this video, by the way, no-brainer. So yeah, we got the Vox, we got the HD500, I've had the TC Electronic G system, which was the space age looking big button unit. And that did not have amps or cabs. It was basically just effects that you could incorporate some external effects into the loop on the back. But unfortunately, I was having some issues with that one. Two different units, actually. I don't think there was spillover between presets either. And just that and a combination of some other things, I ended up returning it. It just didn't work out for me. But as of right now, that gives you a pretty good example of, hey, does this guy know what he's even talking about? Yes, I've had a lot of digital modeling in the past. And when it comes to what is out there on the market right now and what's available, I mean, we really have a good opportunity to get our hands on some great gear, make some great tones, and make some good music. And that's really what it comes down to is you got to pick something that works for you. You know, don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Just kind of put the blinders on. And if you see a unit that you trust the reviews, you like the demos on YouTube, if you can get your hands on one and you like the sounds and everything that it can do for you, then great, go for it. Whether that's a Headrush, a Helix, a Axe Effects, a Kemper, the new Quad Cortex, whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you choose. Just pick one, make some music, and make the world a better place with the music that you create. So I hope this video was helpful. I didn't want to deceive anybody from the last video, but it is important stuff to talk about. It's like, what is the best digital modeler for me? That's the question that you need to ask yourself. And if you can answer that, then I think you'll be well on your way to becoming a more confident musician who is always ready for the studio or the stage. So with that said, I want to thank you guys once again for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, please. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel. I find a lot of people watching my videos don't even subscribe, which makes me sad. Just go ahead and subscribe, okay? And click the bell icon so you'll be notified every time I release new content. So I am Dr. McFarland. I will see you in the next video. Keep rocking.